Scouts Australia respectfully acknowledges the traditional custodians of the country throughout Australia where our activities take place today. We pay our respects to elders both past, present and emerging, and continue to recognise and embrace the important continuous history and connection to land and community of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us from across Australia. My name's Alan Murray. I'm the contingent leader leading the Australian contingent to the 24th New Zealand Jamboree, and I'm here from the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. With me this evening is James Warren, our deputy contingent leader from Victoria. So welcome, everyone. We're going to give you a short presentation, and then there'll be an opportunity for questions. So in addition to the Jamboree, guys, we're offering an optional tour for extra cost. All the information's on our website, and it's another few days spending time on the Mid-North Island of New Zealand.
Really big thing, everyone, is as we go through the presentation, can you please make sure you're putting all of our comments and questions into the comment box so we can answer them as we come through.
Okay, I'm going to run through some eligibility criteria for everyone, particularly Scouts and Venturers. Starting with the Scouts. You must not have turned 15 years old by the 28th of December this year to attend the Jamboree as a Scout. There's a minimum that camping stage 4 in your awards scheme, and 3 nights consecutive camping within 12 months of departure. Good level of fitness and strength. The Jamboree site's flat, but other activities surrounding the Jamboree aren't always on flat ground, so you've got to have a reasonable level of fitness, walking up to about 10 kilometres per day. It's fairly standard for a Jamboree. For venturers, New Zealand are not permitting 15 to just under 16-year-old venturers to attend this Jamboree. You must be minimum 16 years of age. If you decide to sign up, and quite a few venturers have signed up already, which is great, you're there in a service capacity. You're not actually there as a participant. If you decide to come along on our post-tour, you will be included in part of our post-tour program. And very similar requirements with camping stage 4, etc. for Venturer Scouts. You're there to provide service to help run the Jamboree. We're expecting probably 3,000 to 4,000 participants, and quite a huge volunteer workforce is required to run a Jamboree, including the Venturer Scouts. For leaders, obviously your group and branch approval for Rover Scout or adult leader, youth program leader or program support leader. There's a number of roles available. You could be anything from a line leader, or you can choose to come as International Service Team, IST, helping out with activities or helping just servicing the Jamboree as well. You don't necessarily have to be a Scout leader to be a line leader in the troop lines. We'll just have to see how it falls out after our applications close. And I think I probably covered that. So line leader, you're in with the troops. New Zealand still call their Jamboree troops, not units, under their program. And you would be with an Australian patrol or 2 within the troop, mixed in with our New Zealand Jamboree troop. For IST, it's a separate camp within the Jamboree site, and then you'd be allocated some jobs or tasks, more than likely before we leave Australia, hopefully. That's what we'll be pushing for, that you know your job. Some key dates.
That's me, Alan. Sorry, guys.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Sorry, everyone, at the start of the presentation, my sound was doing funny things. So I'll just say, hi, my name is James. I'm the Deputy Contingent Leader from Victoria. So I'm going to run through some of the program elements. So we've got 3 phases of our program. One is an optional element. So we have our pre-tour. So our pre-tour is a really big part of us getting everyone into New Zealand. The majority of our contingent is going to be flying in on Boxing Day. Now, one big thing about our flights and our wonderful big Australia that we have is we have members from our contingent that will come from so many parts of Australia. Part of that will be that we might even have people coming from quite rural Australia. So keep in mind our flights coming into Australia, into New Zealand, beg your pardon, and flying home to Australia could be one day before or after, just depending on where you're from. But the 26th to the 28th of December, we are based in Auckland. Our program patrol will be creating a fantastic set of activities. We're going to be able to see the sights of Auckland, and we're going to be based at the Auckland University. So really central Auckland, where we get to have so much amazing activities there and really get in those sites. And then on the 28th, we make our way to the Mystery Creek Event Centre. We are really fortunate. So the same centre that we are going to this time round was actually the one that we went to for the last 2 New Zealand Jamborees. So in the video that you saw at the start of the info session, that's the same site that we're going to. So we get that beautiful, luscious green grass and so much amazing activity spaces. And that is run by Scouts Aotearoa, and they will be, as Alan said, they'll be in Australian patrols, hosted by New Zealand troops. And they'll have a range of on-site activities and off-site activities. And that's based around the Hamilton area. And then we have our final leg of our journey for some of our contingent members. So that is our post tour, and that is run by our program team for our Australian contingent again. Now, with our post tour, we do have limited spaces. Unfortunately, we can only take 200 people on that experience, and we do have spaces that are filling up quite fast. So it is a first come, first serve basis for our post tour, but it is open to all members of our contingent. So our IST, Scouts, Ventura Scouts, Rover Scouts, and any adults reporting. If you are a Ventura Scout and a Rover Scout that have been completing service at the actual main event and the main camp, this is your opportunity to have a bit of fun and experience New Zealand. So you're fully participating in our program here. Now, of course, our post tour, let's talk about some things we do. Now, our post tour has so many fantastic activities, and we are keeping a lot of them very close and private at the moment because we can't wait, because we're trying to finalize our details. But some things that we know that we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at some sort of a cultural dinner where we get to experience the Maori culture, because it's such a rich culture that we really want to experience and appreciate. We can't go to Rotorua without looking at the luging, and there'll be things like zip lining. We're looking at whitewater rafting. A Hobbiton movie set tour is definitely on our agenda, we believe. And we're looking at so many different other activities, and they're all based around the Rotorua area. So if you are attending post tour, you will leave the Jamboree site, and you're going to come with us, and we're going to go out to Rotorua. And if you're choosing to leave the contingent with the rest of the team, at that point, you'll head back to Auckland. Have a quick little fun stop off at a really cool activity that we've got planned, and then head back to Australia. Let's have a little bit of chat about some logistics. So unfortunately, at this time, we are not offering any independent travel. So all travel is arranged by our Australian contingent. That's looking at all of our international flights to and from New Zealand, all of our ground transport as well. That will also take into account looking at any travel that you may need to do within Australia. We'll work with you as well when it comes to that. So again, we're more than encouraging for you to apply if you're from rural and remote Australia. Let's have a little bit of a discussion about some of our frequently asked questions. So it's so fantastic that we've had so many people that have been coming in and emailing us with some questions. So let's talk about some of our really frequent ones. And this is also a fantastic opportunity for you to add more questions that you may have in our chat now, so that Alan and I in a second can go through and answer them all. So the first one that we're seeing a lot of is, I'm a 15-year-old Ventura Scout, can I join? And unfortunately, Scouts Aotearoa only accepts Ventura Scouts aged between 16 and 18. So we can't accept 15-year-olds Ventura Scouts, and we are really sorry about that. Will I be with my friends from my home unit? We are going to try our best to look at preferences. So once you have applied for the New Zealand Jamboree and we have confirmed our contingent, we'll send out preferences. So you'll be able to tell us if you have any friends from maybe your home unit or even some local units that you know, or maybe even another international event. And you'll be able to tell us who they are. And when we're looking at our patrol allocations, we're able to consider those preferences. Next one is, will I know my patrol before I leave Australia? Yes, of course. We are going, once our patrols are finalised, we will be getting your PAL, which is your patrol adult leader, to get in contact so you can start introducing yourselves. And who knows, you might have some virtual catch-ups as well. And you might even be lucky enough to catch up with everyone at your branch's O-Day. So we will all be having orientation days. Alan, myself, and potentially some of our team are going to hit the roads and maybe the skies to go and do our orientation days in your local state or territory. And that's the time where we get to talk about how the actual Jamboree is working for your experience and your unique experience. What happens if you don't have your passport yet? Can you still apply? 100%, you definitely can. So if you haven't got your passport ready yet, and it might be in the process of, or it's something that you're on getting ready now, can you still apply? Of course. The main thing that you need to submit your application and to have your applications classed as submitted is all of the mandatory field boxes and your deposit that has been submitted. So definitely you can apply without having to have your passport details in the registration system. What we are going to do now is, hopefully we have seen some questions that have come through. Oh, sorry, I missed this one. What are you going to get? Are you going to get a merch kit? Of course you are. We love our merch. So part of your merch that you will be getting is looking at a contingent shirt, some badges, your Scouts Australia International scarf, a name bar, and some extra goodies that we are preparing and we are really excited about. What we're going to have now is we're actually going to have Michelle from Scouts Victoria, who is going to join us up on the screen. And Michelle's going to help us run through some of the questions that you guys have thrown into our chat. So if you have any questions, keep adding them.
Okay, the photos and the video definitely made me want to apply. We've got a few questions. So we're going to start, which James, I think you did answer, but we'll just go over it again. Angela's asking, her son's keen to know the likelihood that he'll be in a patrol with at least one of his friends from his group. What's the chances?
Yeah, look, we have pretty good chances. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Very good chance.
Awesome. James, you can answer this one from last time because I know that we ate a lot. What's the food like for Scouts and line leaders?
Oh, so if you're in the lines with the troops, you're going to be having all your meals in the Jamboree troop lines. And the experience at a New Zealand Jamboree is something absolutely surreal.
Yeah.
When we say you don't pack the kitchen sink at New Zealand, they pack the kitchen sink. They will build complete kitchens out of wood and timber and screws and bring massive kitchens together. It is a ginormous operation. I have seen fridges being run. It's a whole nother
Washing machines.
Yeah, it's a whole nother level. Those New Zealand troops are it's so hard to describe, and the food is amazing what comes out of it. And for the line leading and for the international service team, you are going to be eating in a big mess hall with all the other what they call staff in New Zealand. So all of their other venturers, service rovers, and adults that are supporting the event are called staff, and we eat in a big mess hall, and that's also again amazing food.
It is, and I think you're right. Yeah, like those youth members that went to Maryborough and they are used to an Australian Jamboree setup. This is a totally different experience, and they can line up pegs on those tents better than any of us, I think. We've got Adrian asking, so what happens with 15-year-old youth members? Alan?
If you're 15, you're not a scout anymore, technically. You're a venturer scout. So that's under Scouts Australia and obviously New Zealand as well. So if you've hit your 15th birthday before the 28th of December this year, unfortunately, we're not permitted to take you to New Zealand. It's It's something they've determined. Now, you may or may not have heard they did it last time. They allowed it. They allowed participants. They had a venture active activity. We permitted it at our last Australian Jamboree as well. A lot of that reasoning was the flow on from COVID, where certain parts of this age group missed out on their jamborees. So they allowed it last time, but we did try and put a case forward, but it didn't happen. So, yeah.
No worries. Well, they can still go as venturers.
Yes.
As a program lover, I love this question. Will Scouts be able to use Jamboree as part of their achievement pathways, James?
Definitely. New Zealand actually runs a very similar program to Australia. They're not identical, but very, very similar. So they have a version of their outdoor adventure skills as well. So there's definitely so many different elements that we're going to be able to help you map across when you've come back to Australia. So our outdoor adventure skills, and who knows, we might be able to work in some SIAs in there potentially if we get a little bit creative. But also you've got things like your fundraising that you can link in your SIAs for.
That's a really great idea. Andrew's asking, will we get confirmation that we've been accepted, or do we assume once we have submitted our application and paid that we're confirmed?
No, don't assume that, please, but you will get confirmation. Absolutely. We have a current close-off for the 31st of January. Considerations be given to an extension. Keep an eye out for any information on that. But we will be writing to everybody after applications close, definitely.
Fantastic. Awesome.
Yeah.
And I think Chris has asked a great question, because no international, we've all got our wheelie bags from different jamborees and things. In the merch, James, is there a wheelie bag?
I believe there is. Isn't there?
There is, but we really have cut down on our merch. We're not going to produce a backpack. That is one assumption we've made, that everybody has a backpack, and those of us who have been to a lot of jamborees do have a few wheelie bags around. We appreciate that, but we've thought just to keep that as a minimum at this stage. So
awesome. So Lee, I think that covers your question as well. Sarah missed the first 5 minutes. I don't think we did actually talk about gear. What's required to be taken by the units, James?
Yeah, so you'll just need a lot of your basic core camping things that you take with you when you go to any major camp. What happens is when we get closer, your New Zealand troop leaders will actually start to get in contact with you. So as Alan and I said that we will be having our merch very basic, that's because majority of the New Zealand troops then get their own merch. They'll have funky tops that's just for their own units. They get fancy scarves for their own units. They have badges, and you have a really big collecting drive at the Jamboree. So once you register and we have all of our activities and our events confirmed, the troop leader will get in contact with you, and they'll also tell you any additional gear that you may need. But otherwise, core camping things. Your core things that you can go on a unit camp with.
Tents and beds are usually provided by the New Zealand troop for the Aussies.
So, yes.
Amazing.
Saves us having to worry about quarantine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Fern, very exciting that your son has only been to state events. Your son will definitely enjoy it. And I think we covered that the applications will be after they close, that you will get confirmation. My favourite, we all love a good packing list, James. Will there be a packing list available? I'm hoping it's not yet. I'm hoping you're not that organised. But will there be one further down the track?
Of course there is. So once we have our contingent all sorted and we have who's in our contingent, that's where we're going to start sending you really more emails that are personal to our event. So as you get you'll start to get newsletters that are telling you things about how to make sure your passport's ready to go and all updated, packing lists, a lot about your orientation days, how to get involved with our contingent if that's something that your youth member is really keen on. So we'll have plenty of communication coming through newsletters and email blasts that will have all of that information.
Awesome. Are we going, sorry, there goes my reading. Are we going to sleep in tents by ourselves or with other people? If we're sharing tents, when will we come to know who we're sharing a tent with? I think that depends, James. Do you want to run through leaders v scouts v venturers?
Yeah. So if you are, yes, if you're a scout, yeah, you'll be in tents with other people. And with that, it can be up to the New Zealand troops. They might be based on patrols. It might be the Australians share a tent depending on the tent dynamics and size of tents and stuff like that. You might be mixed in with some of the New Zealanders, so you have someone who might be a little bit more local with you. Our venturers would be very much the same. Our IST, we are very fortunate as well that we get our tents provided, and we will be sharing tents, and our IST share tents with other Australian service team and CMT. So we're all in the tents together. And then when we're at Auckland, it's individual accommodations in your own room, which is pretty cool. You get your own little air conditioning unit. I love it. And then when we go to post tour, if you join us on post tour, it will be cabins, and the Australian contingent will assign cabins for numbers.
Amazing. Alan, Sarah's asking, did we talk through the breakdown of costs and what's included in the contingent fee?
Sure. So generally, we won't be able to give specific.
Yeah, of course.
Generally,
yeah,
it's everything. Basically, it's everything on from Boxing Day when you leave Australia to when you get back, either on the 8th or the 14th of January. Okay, so it covers everything, all your transport, every meal. If you're coming on tour, activities, the jamboree fee. That covers everything. We cover all meals, as I said, the activities in Auckland, the accommodation. That's what the fee covers. Yeah,
amazing.
And it's also
go, James. Sorry.
It's also really important to note with that as well. Part of that fee also includes Scouts Australia's travel insurance. So as an event, we have travel insurance. So in the case of anything that we that happens while we're overseas, we are fully covered for all of the activities that we're completing, and as well as all of our trips. So that part of that falls into the fee as well.
Awesome. Fiona's saying, is there a pre and post camp in Australia as well, or it's just pre and post in New Zealand and the core camp in New Zealand?
Just it's no pre and post camp planned. What we will do is when the patrols are formed, we will encourage, if they're more localized patrols, and most of them probably will be, there'll be, a scout from Broome won't be, they might be on their own. They won't be able to form a patrol from Broome. So, but as localized as possible, they might want to have get-togethers pre-jamboree for sure. We will encourage that. Absolutely. But Auckland, the pre-activity in Auckland is an opportunity, not a very long opportunity, where everyone gets together. So there may be opportunities, certainly meeting online online meetings beforehand will be encouraged.
And our orientation days as well.
Yeah. So you get to meet all the people around. That's fantastic. Laura and Andrew are just asking, so they don't need to organise their own personal travel insurance, correct?
Correct.
Amazing. If you want to go as IST and you've got a really good specific skill like vertical team back here at home, can they choose to work on that activity?
They should let us know now. So
okay.
We flagged it. Okay, and a few people already have. I know of one leader already lined up a position at an activity as a result of contact. So if we know about it, that will help us put that together.
And also maybe put it in the application, Alan.
Yeah, there's a space there. Yeah, there'll be space there to do that for sure.
Fantastic. We're getting to the end of our questions, which I'm excited about. So I think you guys have pretty much covered everything that everyone wants to know. Tonight, I'm just quickly scrolling back through in case. No, I think we're good.
Amazing. So what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to leave you with our email address and our website. So there are some fantastic places to be able to go and get a little bit more information. If you just can't get enough of listening to all of our voices, there is also a link that is on the website where you can re-watch this if you would like to, just if you want to have some bedtime listening and make yourself fall asleep to our voices. We're wonderful. But it's also got our email address there. Alan and I have been loving replying to everyone's questions. It's been so great to speak to so many leaders, parents and scouts and everyone from across the country. So if you do have any questions, please just send us an email at nzj2027@scouts.com.au and we'll be happy to try and answer your emails. Just keep in mind, sometimes our registration system can be a little bit difficult to work your way around. So please, if you're struggling, reach out to us so we can help you through it. That's our job. That's part of our job as the contingent leaders. Before we do go, I do want to thank Michelle, who has came out this evening and helped us run our live stream, and also our marketing and communications lead, Charlie, who's been helping behind the background to make sure that we've been publishing this event and getting all of our resources ready as well.
James, it wouldn't be a good live stream without me throwing one last question before we end, because I've just seen Cheryl post it twice. And I think it's a fair question to hold for. Cheryl's expecting about 5 scouts from her group. That is awesome, Cheryl. She wants to go as a line leader. Will she be with her scouts, do we think? That's a possibility?
There is always definitely a possibility, yes.
Yeah, definitely a possibility.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, I promise questions are now closed.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks
you, Michelle.
Everyone,
for joining us. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, team.